guys ever think maybe you're living in the wrong place?
Nah, not really. Every now and then, but
Never.
Never dream of living somewhere else?
No, I actually quite the opposite. I've always wondered how could people live somewhere else other than Philly.
Late winter, I would love to live in a mountain town where I can just hit that mountain quickly. But other than that, Philadelphia is where I'm at.
Well, I only ask that because when you experience a beautiful day here in the springtime, the energy that injects into society in general is like one of the most magical feelings. Everybody's jumping the gun with the tank tops and the shorts, and everybody's just happy. And I just wonder if you lived somewhere that was beautiful like that, would you be happy all the time?
No, because you wouldn't be able to appreciate it as much if you experienced it every day as if it's like the first few days when it's nice out. It's the greatest.
Yeah.
Right, and I like to think that. That's what I convince myself too, right? If I lived in California with 70 degrees every day, I'd take it for granted.
You would also have to sit in traffic all the time.
That's true. I mean, there's some traffic around here, but I agree. Yeah. California traffic's like
earthquakes.
Well, there's another reason, for me at least, why I can never imagine living somewhere else, and that's attending sporting events in Philadelphia. To me, that is like something I just don't think I could go without. I could be living in Malibu, watching the ocean come up under my deck, and I'd still be worried about missing the Eagles game, the snow game or something like that.
I think a lot of people get killed at Dodgers games. So that probably ain't a bad thing to skip.
That's true. Different risks.
Philadelphia. I think it's more of an East Coast thing, but Philadelphia is right at the top of the East Coast sporting event. Like if you want to see an incredible game, you come to Philly.
Yeah, and if you want to have a good time, have a unique experience, you come to a Philadelphia sporting event. We got a reputation for a reason.
Unless the team stinks, then no one shows up and it's empty and everybody boos, like the current Flyers.
Hey, we're not fair weather fans, all right? I don't care what anyone says. Well,
yeah, we are.
Maybe sometimes. But, going to games, I think, has changed a lot. Technology has changed it. The way the business landscape has changed it. And I just have had a lot of experiences going to games recently that made me think about stuff that I never even questioned. And one of the things I think about a lot that probably most people don't even think about at all is like what people wear to games. For you guys, when you're going to a Sixers game, a Phillies game, a Eagles game, don't tell me there's not a deliberate decision you're making about what you're going to wear.
I wouldn't say it's deliberate, but it's just whatever I'm feeling that day. Now, if I just happen to get a new piece of gear that I haven't yet worn to a game,
you want to rock that.
That's number one. That's without question.
That's like when you got the City Edition Maxi jersey.
Of course.
That jersey's fire.
Got to go.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You got to wear it.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting.
That's the reason you bought it, is to show it off.
Everybody has their different reasons. For a lot of people, it's like, what player do you identify with? Like for me, historically, Eagles games, I'm always like, I've had one player for a long period of time. I could even tell you it was like D-Jack forever, Ertz, or Dalk, obviously, Ertz forever. Now, this is the guy that I'm getting behind.
Right.
But it's been interesting to me. I've had a couple different instances where I was like questioning what I was wearing. And let me give you an example. So I went to an Eagles game this past season, and I was in a box with, some family friends and more professional types, if you will.
Right.
Guy comes up to me, hey, listen, there comes a time in your life when you're going to have to stop wearing another man's name on your back. And in
sounds
that
like
moment,
an insecure man.
You
honestly.
think so?
A little bit.
In that moment, I was just like, whoa, for real?
So what does he expect you to get a customized Rendell jersey? No. Or just not wear any team gear?
Don't do that.
Like, come
any
on,
name
man.
here?
Like, it's not that deep. You're rooting for your team. You're wearing a jersey of the guy you identify the most with. Or I remember when I was younger, I used to like to get the most obscure guy on the team, just because no one else had it. But it's just a fun thing to wear a jersey to a game. It's not you look at video of like the 70s and 80s. Everybody's wearing suits or a dress shirt. It's not like
that's kind of thing. What was interesting, the guy next to me was like the dean of a school, like a local school, and he was wearing a jersey. So I was like, you're not seeing this guy, So I think
you wear
to
jersey
each his
to a
own
game. It's like I'm a fan. I'm a real fan. I'm unified with the team.
Right, you just keep it real. But see, so
it's
recently I went to a Phillies game. And similar scenario, I ended up in a box, and it was like a lot of former executives and kind of guys my age that were family members of these people. And I was besides the kids that were in there, I was the only one that had my Bryce Harper jersey on. So I'm looking around, I'm like, You know, like
now,
am I doing this right?
Before you went to that game, were you like, oh man, I'm going to be in the box with these executives. I don't need to wear a jersey.
They don't have a Bryce Harper jersey. Maybe they're not actual fans. Maybe
exactly.
Maybe they're suits who don't really care about the game and they don't even own one. So that's how you got to think of it. You're either a sports fan or you're not a sports fan. And if you're not, you can't associate yourself with that person. I mean, not you can't associate with that person, but you can't compare yourself to that person.
Well, this all started with me too, because like going to a lot of games over the years, I think it depends, right? Like most people go to the games with their friends for fun. I've gone to a decent amount of games, and I'm sure a lot of people do.
I go to games to lose my voice, get insane, and hope my team wins.
And hope you don't lose a bunch of money on the bets that you have riding on the game, of course. Right. But if you go sometimes for like business or with people from work, you know, like people are dressing differently to the games. I think there's some funny kind of stereotypes there, like the guy who's always got the dark jeans and like the sport coat. You know, I always look at that guy and I'm like, come on, dude, not here. That's not the right form. This isn't like casual Fridays or anything. Then I have a friend actually. So we were out in Oakland for the Raiders game, right? Eagles Raiders, which that was not a fun game. Didn't turn out to be. We hoped it would be fun. We're going into the game and he's got jeans and a flannel on. You know, he didn't like change. He could be wearing that on any given day.
Oh yeah, and I know this kid. This guy's a hardcore Eagles fan.
Right. If you can't go to a sporting goods store and at least get an Eagles T-shirt before you do that, I mean,
it didn't even occur to him.
Effort into it.
He doesn't care.
It's a personality trait.
He's a good
this guy.
fan.
Then let me ask you: does he care about the Eagles?
Oh, he loves the
absolutely.
Eagles.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's weird. And then you have like the guy who's there. This used to irk the crap out of me, right? I'd be waiting in line, and there'd be a guy who's got a jersey on from a team that's not participating in the game. That's like the third-party jersey guy.
Random as hell.
Okay, so that I can't stand. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You go to a Sixers game, guy's got LeBron jersey on, we're playing the Nets, whatever.
Yeah, I don't understand that
Absolutely.
at all.
I mean, if it's a little kid, you got to give him a pass.
I try not to like get on the little kids about what
you got to get on their parents.
You got to see some adults are friggin' weird, and they get on little kids who have jerseys on.
That is weird.
That's like that person is like if that's an adult, a third party jersey, they're just some sort of hater. They're there to start trouble.
So if you went to the Eagles game last season and there was a little kid with a Wentz jersey, you saying anything like, yo?
Absolutely not.
Are you looking at the dad being like, Dad,
Eagles jersey.
Dad, can you take care of this situation?
Maybe Dad didn't have the paper to get him in.
Right. I don't.
Yeah, you don't know what you're stumbling
into. I don't guilt
into.
people into their jersey choice.
I'll tell you, I used to have a real strong opinion about that. You know, these third party jerseys. But I was out in California randomly. My buddy said, hey, you want to go to an Angels game? I said, sure. Who are they playing? He said, the Yankees. I said, this is amazing. I'm going to go see Angels, Yankees, see Ohtani, right? And I'm getting ready to go to the game. And I'm so used to wearing like a sporting something. I'm like, what the hell do I wear? And then I had the impulse. I'm like, well, shit, I'm a Phillies fan. I should wear a Phillies hat. And then I realized I was going to be the third-party fan guy. And I kind of sympathized.
I think a hat would be sufficient for
so
that.
It depends on the article of clothing.
And then if anyone says anything to you, say, listen, I'm from Philly. I don't give a shit about either of these teams.
But then I
doubt anyone in Anaheim would say anything to you anyway.
Listen, I don't want to end up in one of those videos, you know, where I say that and the next, you know, I'm just like.
I was out in L.A. the year the Phillies, was it 2008 when they won the World Series? I was out there right after they won.
And can we just say for the record, you knew jack shit about baseball and you jumped hard on that bandwagon.
I jumped hard on that bandwagon, but whatever.
Hard. I guess that's your right as a Philadelphian.
Yeah, I was standing in line at this party and I'm wearing my Phillies hat. And it's a red Phillies hat, World Series cap. And dudes are looking at me and I'm like, they're like, what's up with the hat? I'm like, I'm from
They were
Philly.
probably Crips and they saw a red hat on.
They're like, yo, you're wearing the wrong color hat around here. And I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't even think
And there's an element.
that.
And by the way, we learned this by going to that game at the Coliseum because there's an element out there, a section of the fan base that is not joking around, dude. They will cut you.
They will stab you, apparently, in the Dodger Stadium.
I started to pick up on
apparently.
That's a noted thing. But I picked up on it out
there.
I picked up on it out there, and I was like, oh, my God. One of the cool things now that I'm thinking about that game, about the Coliseum, if you've ever been there, when you walk, you know when you go in the tunnels, when you go into a game to, like, sit in your seat?
Right.
The tunnel is like, you remember this? It's like 100, not 100 yards, but like 50 yards long. It's the craziest thing because, you know, it goes back like forever. You could be sitting a mile away.
I don't remember that. I'm sure I had some pregame.
Yeah, you were probably a little, you weren't in your right mind.
I do remember that place just being a shithole, if I'm going to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, and then there's like
the point is, Philadelphia is the place to fucking see a game.
Absolutely.
I've had a lot of different experiences watching games in other places, and there's obviously no place
like
it. Although I do enjoy checking out the other stadiums, seeing what the other fans are like. It's a fun experience.
If you grow up somewhere else, you're probably accustomed to that. It's fine. But if you grow up in Philly and you're used to watching games in Philly, nothing else will ever satisfy your need for sports
You're right.
like this.
There's no doubt about it. But no one else from outside of the market will ever agree to that. You know, they're always going to think that we see it through our own lenses, and that's fine.
Well, listen, there's some other greats, but like
no doubt.
Chicago, New York, that's
wherever.
maybe about it.
So the third-party jersey guy really burns your ass.
Well, I like I said, I kind of
ass.
relate to the guy now, if he's a fan of that team. Now, if you just wear a LeBron jersey because you think LeBron's great, you got no connection, then I can't really vouch for that kind of behavior. Yeah. But you know what's also interesting is the alteration guy. You know, the guy who's manually altered the jersey to create different numbers, like when players leave. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like with the
duct
tape on the back?
Yeah, he puts duct tape over 25 and puts trash instead of cinnamon.
I just respect the gambit of creativity that you see with that. Like I saw my favorite one I saw.
I don't have enough energy to do all that.
Well, I did it with my son Simmons jersey. We actually took off all the letters but the O, and it kind of looks like a 0. That's the best I could do. So that's my contribution. But my favorite one that I saw all year was a guy had a Jimmy Butler jersey, and he wrote on top of it, "Probably should have kept," and then an arrow to Butler's name. And I just thought that was, that's a good use of creativity. You see a lot where it's a reach. You're like, this is not good what you've tried to do here.
The best one, I don't know if this falls in that category because it's not really artistic. It was clearly a jersey that was made by a shop or something. But it was, remember the guy who ran into the pillar?
Yes, pillar guy.
The pillar guy, yes.
Yeah,
and
he sits in front of us.
Yes, a couple rows in front of you. He had, when we go to the Eagles game, he had seats like kind of close to Jess's seats, and he had a jersey that said pillar guy.
Listen,
and it was clear that it was the guy who ran into the pillar on the SEPTA station.
If you become a legend,
he's just looking for attention. Man.
No. If you become a viral legend because of the fact that you ran into a subway pillar, you got to.
I became a legend from being a complete dumbass. I mean, it's not
that
like
video was great though. Come on,
it's incredible. But he probably should have died. He probably,
if he deflected into
he probably should have been knocked unconscious and fell onto the track.
Yeah. So that reminds me, because the section that we're in has got a couple characters. Every once in a while, the guy Tapman comes around. Have you seen Tapman?
Clear jersey,
the big fat guy.
Tapman,
about the big fat guy.
Yeah, but he's got a jersey that he cut, right? So it says Tapman, and then it's like clear plastic from like the back down, just so you can see his tattoos.
I feel like that's somebody you would know. Do you know that guy?
No, I don't know Tapman.
Messed up. I don't know why he's trying to do Meech like that. Also, the Andy Reid impersonator guy always comes around. I love that guy. He's got the headset. And he keeps doing it. It doesn't matter what era it is. Andy Reid impersonator guy.
He's got to fade that out.
See, that's just too much, man. Like I would never go to those lengths as a fan. I would never paint my face. It's just too much, in my opinion.
Bet you would have like every combination of uniform. There are different iterations of psycho fandom.
So what do you think's appropriate to wear to a game?
Well, I think what I'm getting at is I'm not quite sure. I think most people would say you do whatever the hell you want to do. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever the hell you want to do. But I'm just trying to acknowledge the fact that when you go to a game on a lot of levels, you're looking around at people and going, what are you doing, dude?
And if you go to a game, you got people dressing weird and people eating weird shit.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that is exactly what I wanted to talk about, because think about this. Like I said, going to the game is different. Do you guys remember back when the fact that they had Chickies and Pete's at the game and it was like a non-game food? Like it used to be like you can get fries, you know what I mean? But then it was like, oh, they have Chickies and Pete's. And I got to give them credit. The lines are still bad after all this time, but in the beginning it was like, you're not getting it. You might as well wait the whole damn game.
I remember going to
a long time
Spectrum
ago.
back in the day, and like you get your standard, chicken fingers and fries or whatever. But then, like, I don't remember the transition.
There were like 4 options back in the day.
Like even if you go to like one of these older stadiums nowadays,
it was nachos. It was nachos with the 2 slots that had the cheese and the disgusting ass salsa. Yeah. That you'd be like, yo, give me double
the salsa
cheese.
Sometimes it would taste like carbonated.
Yeah, it was like so bad. Like
carbonated. That shit was rotten.
It wasn't real. It wasn't real salsa.
You know what they got rid of recently? That like was one of how you like things, but you acknowledge it's kind of gross.
Right.
They used to put the hot dogs in those little foil sleeves, and they would be the perfect blend. I mean, sometimes maybe a little too moist, but there was a little moisture there. Now they don't do that anymore, and so you get them, and they're all crusty. That little sleeve.
You remember those back at the vet, the guys used to carry around the hot dog tins, and they must have weighed like 40 pounds.
Yo,
and they were like
give me that.
steamers. And they'd open it up and the steam would shoot out. I used to feel so bad for
Dude, I
these
feel
guys.
bad for any of those concession
And
dudes
then
in
they'd
any
have all
stadium.
their little mustard packs in there.
But think about it, the guy who's carrying the cotton
Nobody
candy.
tipped
That's
this
a good
dude.
gig.
It was $2
The
a
cotton
hot
candy's a sweet
dog.
deal.
Cotton
The guy
candy's
who's
a great
carrying like
gig.
60 beers on his fucking
This guy's
head,
carrying around
that guy's
air.
gonna have
the other
neck
guy's
issues
going
in the future.
Miller
Right.
Lite. You guys know the parrot guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you don't like the parrot guy?
No, he's all right.
I like the parrot guy, and
Cool.
guess what? I never forget this. I'm at a concert.
I don't think he's there anymore, is he?
I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
He's around, yeah.
You know this guy?
No.
He carried the parrot.
He was
Damn. Well, that's
when the
because he
team
didn't
was
barely go to many Phillies games. This guy was more Phillies. But anyway, I'm at a show in Atlantic City, right? And I come up to the bar, and I'm like, that's the parrot guy. Parrot guy's behind the bar, and I go, Miller Lite. And he goes, Arr. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Did he have the parrot?
No, he didn't have the parrot. He was in it. He was off. He was not. He didn't have the parrot. But I'm telling you,
Fuck, did
he
you
looks at me.
recognize the
Bro,
parrot guy?
I just know the parrot guy. He looks at me. I swear to God. He goes,
This is Jess's hero.
He goes,
Kid, dude.
Arr.
The,
It was great. I mean, I loved it.
But yeah, I
loved
don't
it.
remember the transition from the standard stock
But,
stadium
but anyway,
food
here's
into
my my theory on food at a game. As a parent who usually has to take a few kids there, I don't like eating at a game. It's too expensive. The lines are too goddamn long, and it's only a few hours. I can eat before I go, and I can eat when I leave if I want.
But here's the thing. These days, my point was this. Things have evolved so much that it's not just a question of, like, I'm going to get this. It's like you have all these options.
What are you going to get?
Yeah, because, like look at the Phillies.
Am I going to stand in line for 40 minutes?
Well, on that topic, so when you go to the Phillies now, you got what? Shake Shack, Manko and Manko. I think they still have Campos,
They got
Tony
it all. Luke's. They
I
still
mean,
have.
you can eat anything.
Yeah.
But I was
Bull's
going to a
barbecue.
game, and I saw Manko and Manko, which, I know from Ocean City. We both know that.
I've never had that shit.
I've come around on it. When I was young, I didn't think it was
Shout out Sauce Hose.
Yeah, I actually
Sauce
looked.
hose.
I saw that you
hell is
put.
sauce hose?
I saw you put sauce hose, and I looked into it. And you're talking about the hose they use to put the sauce on.
They pump the sauce onto their pizza with a
The hose.
pedal
Like, it's
and
amazing.
hose.
That's amazing.
I
love
thought
it.
you meant
It's
like
the great-
these were like some groupies that like
Well,
love the sauce.
No.
Like some
They
sauce
legitimately
hose.
have a hose, and this is what I was worried about with the Phillies. I went and got Mac and Mankos at the Manko and
be
Mankos
careful.
at the Phillies last night.
Isn't that tax fraud related? Anyway, keep going.
And they have at their location in Ocean City, they put the sauce onto their pizza through a hose that they have a pedal for, and they just go and it spits out the sauce in like a. And I was like, if the stadium has that, it would be kind
Sounds
of
disgusting,
but they
actually.
don't. Stadium has the fucking sauce hose.
I love it.
Not only that, Mac and Mankos has this like a circular oven. It's not like a regular pizza oven where you just stick it in and it just sits still. It goes in circles like a fucking
Right.
microwave around the
Special.
And they have the
Proprietary.
special oven in Citizens Bank Park.
So
sauce
So
hose and
here's my
circular
review
oven.
of
yeah,
it.
give us the quick review.
You don't get the same taste that you do from the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, you need the salt
water and
water
the
in
beach
the air.
air. Like that's a special combination that
Yeah.
fucks with the dough and the crust somehow and just makes it delicious. They don't have that same fermentation, whatever, in
But
Citizens Bank Park, but the sauce tastes
Sauce
exactly the
hose
same.
Came out of hose.
Yeah.
The crust is okay. The cheese is good. I mean, it's like a fucking a 7 out of 10 if I'm going to rate it, and it's by far the best food option.
what I
at
love about
Citizens
you,
Bank
I
Park.
saw you tweeted something about it, and you put like hashtag sauce hose, and I was like, this is something, and I don't know what it is, and so I clicked into it, and then I saw like Dan McQuaid and all these other guys were hashtagging sauce hose, so I went deep down a sauce hose rabbit hole, but that's good next level knowledge.
No other pizza place puts their sauce onto the pizza with a sauce hose.
I like the fact that they're keeping the same stuff though, because
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of times, like with Lorenzo's, sometimes I'm like, this does not taste the way it would taste if I got it at South
the
Street.
original recipe. You
Right.
got to
But
try.
I mean,
to
it's
at
probably
least
hard.
Yeah, it's hard because you're trying to serve 30,000 idiots in a matter of 2 hours.
And I bet in some cases Aramark takes over and makes it instead of the actual place, so it's probably hard to keep it
Yeah,
the
I
same.
did. Somebody in line was telling me how, these aren't Macaroni Mankos employees.
Right.
These are Aramark employees.
Right.
And Macaroni
So I just
can't
did
eat.
that.
I'm like, dude, just let me eat the fucking pizza.
Let me enjoy it. Yeah,
So
I
you're
walked
not a
right
fan.
by it.
Excuse me,
You're
let
not
me
a-
eat the pizza.
Yeah, he doesn't even like.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You don't
he
even like eating at the game.
he doesn't like eating at the game, but last night he got a full size mango pizza.
It was for
Doesn't-
it was for science, all right?
Oh, it's for science. He wanted to check the sauce. Anyway, but going back to my earlier point on the hot dog is an elite sports, live sports food item.
All right.
Because, like I said, I do miss the sleeve, but I can eat that and just
One hand,
Yeah.
easy to manage.
And as long as you don't go crazy with the
baseball
condiments.
on the other hand, if need
Totally. Whereas I've seen some items at the game that I just am like, I can't do it. Now I've made the mistake a couple times. Cheesesteak, right? To me, cheesesteak is not a lap food. If I'm going to eat a cheesesteak, that's a sitting for me. I want to sit with a flat surface. I want to put the whole thing out. I want the
disagree.
ketchup for the dipping. You disagree?
I disagree
You're
with
not
that.
getting
Yeah.
a good cheesesteak. It says
That's number
You're not.
one. But you're not getting the best cheesesteak. You can get a decent cheesesteak at some of these places, and they usually come with the little tray.
So that's enough for you? That's enough for you?
That's enough for me. I just throw the tray on my lap. Boom. Got my little ketchup.
Nah.
Instead of waiting in line for Tony Luke's for 2 innings at a game, after the game, go to Tony Luke's and wait for 10 minutes and get the
Yeah, but
good
I
one.
might have had a couple beers beforehand. I'm starving.
it,
Dude, I
I
haven't
get
had
it.
anything to eat since lunchtime,
mean,
and I'm like, if I don't eat
either-
something right
either
now, I'm gonna fucking faint at
prep
this
or you
game.
don't prep.
Listen, my minimum criteria is it's not something that, like, as I eat it, it's going to unravel, like, all over me. You know what I mean? And, like, a
You gotta
cheesesteak
be,
is just
be
that.
nice with
Reach
it.
all
You
over
gotta
your
be
hand,
delicate
like-
with the tray.
I need your opinion on this because
The
this
tray
is
and
the
the
kind of
steak, dude.
this is the kind of shit that
Delicate.
goes through my mind when I'm at a game. So I was at a basketball game a couple weeks ago, and politician that I happened to know who the guy was, walks by, sits down, he's wearing a suit, he's obviously coming from work. Next thing I know, he's got a box of popcorn, and I just was like, it's just weird to me. Like, popcorn to me is very difficult to eat, right? Because I get like so much of it, and then I can't. It just gets.
Yeah,
everywhere.
you gotta sacrifice the ones that are gonna fall down your
Right,
chest.
but I'm just like, is it
gonna
weird?
happen.
Is popcorn a weird item for a grown man to
No,
order, especially if that's like all you're gonna get?
I don't think so. I mean, it's listen, everything's fucking weird if you think about it. But popcorn at a basketball game, no, it's just a snacky.
Well,
it's like eating peanuts at a baseball game.
Yeah,
It could be weird, but it's
that
kinda
by the way
traditional.
annoys the crap out of me. I was actually at
If
the game.
you got guys coming down saying popcorn, it's not weird for someone to say, "I'll take one."
I've definitely bust down on
they're
some
putting-
popcorn.
Well,
at
like my
games
kids-
before.
It's
I
like
like
putting
it, man.
bubble gum at the supermarket
listen,
when you check out.
My kids
All
are going
I'll take a
straight for
pack
the
of bubble
popcorn.
gum.
It just doesn't seem an adult item. And by the way, when people eating peanuts, I mean that almost is a
Here's
disgrace. What is going on?
Oh, they're just-
You want me to
that's
tell you
disgrace.
what's
On the
weird?
ground.
I went to a Sixers game a few months ago with my wife. We had seats on an aisle where it's only 3 seats there. So it's us two, and we sat against the railing and left the other seat open. So this guy comes down. He's like, "That's my seat." It was just 3. It was 1, 2, 3. He goes,
taken.
"That's my seat, 1." I go, "Okay, well, we'll each move down 1." So he sits down there. This guy breaks out a fudge box from like you get at the seashore with the knife. He opens up the fudge,
Like a full.
moves over the wax paper, gets the little plastic knife, cuts his little piece of fudge out, and my wife is going like this to me, like nudging me, like you gotta check this out.
Was this the full bar?
The full full box,
fresh from the boardwalk
fresh from the
fudge,
boardwalk.
like-
now it didn't have the name on the top of the box. It
Oh.
wasn't like Laura's fudge or
Wait.
I didn't know what kind of fudge it was, but it was definitely a legit.
That is a
box
random
of
thing.
fudge.
First of all, it's a random thing to
And
bring
he's
it to the
cutting
game.
it with his little fudge knife, and he's putting his little fudge pieces into
Dude, that
his
might have been
mouth.
some magic fudge. There
It
might have
was-
been some mushrooms or some shit
it
in there,
was
man.
so
Like, who the hell brings
distracting.
fudge to any sporting
Did he
event?
finish it off with a saltwater taffy?
I mean, he had to have. I
Now I
didn't.
want some fudge.
I didn't pay
weirdly.
attention the whole time, but it was so distracting. Every time he brought out this little box, I just stopped paying attention.
So this
to
guy was at the game by himself, right?
by himself.
Yeah, this is a weird individual.
So
clearly,
it's obviously. I think we've established it's complicated matrix and paradox making these decisions, right? Now let me ask you this question: can you still bring hoagies into some games? Can you?
Yeah,
Can you? Like any game?
Yeah, I think
Not,
so.
not like a
Just have
Sixers
to have
game.
them in like
Eagles game, yeah. Eagles
open containers or whatever.
I think you have to wrap it in clear plastic, maybe.
Wrap-
there
whatever.
you go.
I mean, every time I'm at the game, I'm going through security and I look over and somebody's got a hoagie, and I immediately have hoagie envy. I'm like, what? Why didn't I get?
So you would eat an hoagie at the game, but you're not getting down.
I have
Well, yeah, because it's free.
Brought it in there. I have enough willpower to last 3 hours without eating. I mean, you can eat before and after.
Well,
if you're going to spend $40 to eat at a game for shit food, it's not worth it.
Dude, you definitely come out of the I know for me personally, whenever I go to a sporting event, the next day I eat something.
Horrible.
I got straight up stadium gut.
Stadium
gut is a real thing. I'm spending half the day in the toilet, and it's just
okay. We don't need to go any further than that. We don't need to go any further than that. We know what that is. We know what that is.
Stadium gut is real. If anybody was wondering, it's a real thing.
So, Meech, the fudge story actually reminds me of another kind of element of this whole thing, which is the way people behave at games and how you see stuff that people do, and you are just like, what the hell is this person thinking? And I can remember a very specific instance that triggered this for me. We were at the Eagles. I sit in the same spot every time, so it's a usual cast of characters, but there was a guy 3 or 4 rows in front of me, does the classic, all of a sudden he turns around, looks up at everybody, goes, "Eee!" Right? Starting the Eagles cheer. And look.
Like at a random time? Was it like?
I don't remember when the first one was, okay? But my whole point here is the guy, I don't know if he was like, if he had done it before and if he thought, can I do this? Can I lead? But he did one, and people are pretty willing to jump in on an Eagles cheer. You can start it in the freaking subway and everybody will jump in. So everybody jumps in, and he's like, oh, okay. He sits down.
It's that guy's time right there.
Yeah, I'm kidding you. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, next stoppage, stands up, turns around, hey! And I'm like, hey!
Enough, dude.
Yeah. And then, he would do it, every 2 minutes. And it was just clear this guy was having a moment. He felt like a leader of men out there.
Right. I mean, you can't blame him. Maybe he's got some other issues.
That's
where
true.
I'm sure he was tuned up. His moment.
Average person at the Eagles game probably has a few issues.
Right.
No
probably. I mean, I wouldn't say anything to this guy, and I would continue to feed into his ego.
You would do that.
You'd be like, hell yeah. I would be like, hey, good job, dude.
No, you can't do that, dude.
Is stand up and go, because okay, so one of the things that was great.
No, I'm not trying to outshine.
No.
This is his moment. Let him be.
But you remember the battles back in the day at the vet? They still do it at the link, but it's not the same. It was section on section, and the cheer battles.
Great taste, less filling.
No, well, it's a similar idea, but it would be one section doing the Eagles chant.
Nobody understands.
The guys get up and they go like this, right? And they get everybody up, and the whole section stands up, and they do their chant. And then they go like this, and then the other guy, that was epic back in the day, but this is not the same thing. This was like the junior version of that.
Right.
And so it was just like that behavior right there. And I was like, man, this guy, that kind of stuff annoys me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad. I mean, he was having this moment, and like I said, I like the cheer.
It doesn't annoy me. I like to feed into guys like that personally. I mean, I don't. He's doing it for a reason. He's
supporting the team.
He might have been. Was he tuned up? Was he clearly tuned up?
I don't recall, but it's a fair assumption.
So listen, next time you see that, feed into the guy and really.
I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go.
Be his number one cheer.
It's a good time.
Be the main guy. Hey, G-L-E-S, Eagle.
I gotta disagree with that, dude. If it's annoying the shit out of you, why are you gonna feed into this guy?
But how's an Eagles cheer? As a Philadelphia fan,
if it's every
every
3 minutes, it's gonna annoy the shit out. I might throw something at that guy.
I like being obnoxious.
Also, if you see him get up, when you see him starting to get up, you should just jump up right in front of him and say, just take steal his shine, dude.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
was saying we could start a little battle. What if we had a battle and we were like 4 rows away?
You two sound like haters a little bit.
I'm haters.
I'm hating on the guy leading the Eagles.
When I'm I am a hater.
Sunday morning.
When I'm at a game, I'm looking around to find the biggest, idiot around because it just amuses me to see the weird stuff.
I embrace the idiots. I love. The idiots.
Clearly, this guy annoyed the hell out of you, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I wouldn't say it ruined my game watching experience.
I relate more to the idiots than I do.
That makes sense. I have this false belief that I'm smart.
What else bothers you at games?
I love those.
What else bothers you?
On your, the line of encouraging people, right? When you take people to games, you never know how they're going to act, right?
What? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you have an extra ticket to the game.
Oh, right.
You don't get the same even keel guy that Rock is to go to the game when you pick certain people. And I picked a guy to go to the game with me. And we had sat in the seat for no more than 2 minutes. There's the one fan who decides, there's a guy who likes the other team 5 rows ahead of me, and I'm going to ruin that guy's day, and like ruining that guy's day becomes more what they're there for than watching the game. Have you ever experienced that?
I think I know.
You know,
I've actually
like,
been the
like
person
stuff,
who's like
look,
I've seen it occur.
I'm saying,
I've
like,
been that
I'm
guy
all,
who's been like, you're an asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm all about, giving somebody a hard time, but you can tell when it crosses the line, to your point, when you're just calling somebody out, cursing at them, and everyone in the section is just like, ugh.
I remember one time I went to, this is a Sixers playoff game back in this is a long time ago. We were playing the Celtics. We're sitting deep up in the nosebleeds. I was with a couple of friends that, I'm not going to mention any names, but there was
mention them.
Sixers are playing the Celtics, and there was a Celtics fan in front of us with his girl. And the Sixers that were losing the game, this guy's getting all turned up. And the Sixers ended up winning the game. And then I just got in this dude's ass right in front of his lady. And he got to the point where he wanted to fight me. And I'm like, well, what's up, dude? You want to fight me? Fight me. You know what I mean? Wow. So I have been that guy who's like, giving him shit. And I was giving him shit the whole game. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you were that guy.
Yeah, I was that guy.
But see, what's funny, the guy I brought, he wasn't that guy because he didn't want to be that guy. He wasn't willing to be that guy. But he was that guy's biggest fan. He would stand up, be like, that's right, brother, you go get him. And he formed a bond with the dude such that when the dude was messing with the guy,
he was the instigator.
He would look back.
So
and
he
be
was
yeah.
What's
he
like
was
Don
feeding into
Quixote?
it.
Don
He was
Quixote?
doing
Is that
what
what
you
it
would
is?
have been
So he
doing.
was like the
You would have
sidekick?
been like, get him. You know what I mean? You would have been backing that guy.
I'm not an instigator. I'm not.
It's different.
He was the sidekick.
You're an idiot lover, not an instigator.
Right.
It's very different.
Correct.
I like that about you. I like that.
I love
about
idiots. I love derelicts. I love the misfits. Those are my kind of people.
Dude,
I can respect that, dude. I can respect that.
There's some weird shit that happens at games. People are just weird in general, right? Like I feel like I know you pretty well. I know you somewhat.
Getting there.
I'm getting there.
Getting there.
We're pretty
whether you like it or not.
People, but like the majority
Not
of the
too
people
hard
in
to
this
figure out.
The majority of people in this world are fucking idiots and they're weirdos. So like when you go to a game, it's a conglomerate of weirdos and idiots. So like weird shit happens.
It's like
at
lighting
games.
a match.
So,
one time I
so
was
if you
going to a
judge
game.
them, it lessens your experience. Instead, become one of them.
I'm not judging
I'm
them. I'm observing their peculiar
exactly.
behavior.
Yeah, but if you're observing someone in like a zoo type of observance, like it's like you enjoy their weird behavior.
Yeah.
See, I want to become the weird behavior. All
right. So I'm assuming next time you go to a Sixers game, you're gonna have that fudge on deck and like.
No. I'm not talking about bringing fudge to a game. I'm just talking about
that is weird.
Being
weird.
completely obnoxious, yelling.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Whatever it
What's the
takes.
weirdest shit you've seen at a game?
Wait. I have an idea.
And listen, the three of us went to a Miami Heat game, and I'm pretty sure we knocked Tyler Hero completely out of his game.
Oh, hell yeah.
And if you don't have that kind of crowd behind you, you might as well be the Orlando Magic.
That wasn't weird. That was brilliant.
Yeah,
What
you
you
might
He was
and
getting fucking
you,
cooked
what
that
you
game.
and
I feel
Fink
like we
did
started
to
that
him.
too, because like we started going at Hero, and then by the time
they scored about 20 consecutive points off him after we're screaming at him from the third row. He definitely heard it.
Oh hell yeah!
So when you understand that a fan can have that kind of impact on the game, be obnoxious.
Yeah.
Make the opposing player feel intimidated. Like, oh shit, we got to play in Philly tonight. Like, god damn, I don't know what they're going to do.
No.
That's the.
Don't they block that shit out? I guess not.
So what's What's the weirdest shit? I mean, you saw the fudge guy. What's the weirdest thing?
I mean, I don't even know. I couldn't even.
Fudge is pretty weird. That might be the weirdest thing you've seen at a game.
I've seen so much shit at games. I can't even begin to tell you, but it's all fun. It's all It's all new experiences and
Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Right.
Don't side eye a guy who's being obnoxious.
I'm just being annoyed.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
become
getting annoyed.
obnoxious.
It's like little things annoy me.
It makes the experience so much better.
I have another thing. So now people are going to think I just go to games and was annoyed. I don't even watch the game, but I do enjoy the game itself. But and by the way, a lot of this annoyance gets in the way of the game watching experience for me. That's part of my issue too.
And
you don't care. You just love
love
idiots.
observing human behavior.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not like you don't have to become it, I guess, as long as you observe it and respect it. Don't observe it.
I ain't gonna always respect
say,
it.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I
can't
don't want to act
respect.
like that guy. Like,
I'll tell you what I don't respect. This happens to me a lot.
we need those guys. We need the crazy guys. Otherwise, we're not Philly. We're any
got
other
a point.
random team.
True.
You got a point.
I'll tell you what. The weirdest shit I've ever
was
seen at
deep.
a game. I was going to a Eagles Denver Broncos game. I don't know what year it was, what week, but out in front of the stadium as I'm walking in, I see a guy. He's not wearing an Eagles jersey. He's not wearing a Broncos jersey. He's wearing like a tie-dyed hoodie and some shorts.
Tie-dye hoodie?
Yeah, and some fucking boots, right? Some like, some stylish, like, they're not like combat boots. They're like some whatever boots. Oh. And this dude's getting a fucking shoe shine out in front of the Lincoln Financial Field. Like, there's a dude down there with his fucking shine box, and he's got his foot up. I got a picture on my Instagram. This dude's getting a fresh spit shine for the game.
But what if he was walking by the guy, and the guy was trying to make a little cash, and he felt like, you know what, I'm going to let this.
All right, well, props to him for that. But still, that's weird as fuck. I didn't see that transaction. I saw a guy getting his fucking shoe shine before he's going into the game.
It's a little out of context, but before the game is the time when a lot of stuff happens that also annoys me. Okay, because I go to a lot of games. I have a lot of friends, go to games. I love making plans, meet up. And I like to consider myself pretty punctual and, like, okay, we're going to get, and what I hate the most is when I say to somebody, hey, we're going to, let's go to the game, dude, we're going to have a great time. All right, let's meet up, hour and a half, 2 hours before, we're going to tailgate or whatever, and then I show up and then they don't get there. You know what I mean? And I've actually literally, my buddy,
then you're walking around like a lost puppy.
Our buddy who's always driving down there, with his truck and doing a tailgate out of the back, which is my favorite kind. We'll do the thing where, like, we're texting the night before, it's on, blah, 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 and then I'll get down there, I'll have, like, 6-pack in my hand, and it'll be like, I'm leaving my apartment, downtown.
Oh, wait, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I love them, but I'll be standing by, like, a light pole, at, like, yo, we're meeting at K18 or whatever.
I feel like I've gone down to a game with you to go meet this particular
person. And we stand there drinking beers around the pole.
Here's your option.
Puppies, like,
you say, you say, I'm going to pick your ass up at this time.
Hell no.
You pick my ass
bringing the
up
car.
at this
No,
time.
I'm taking the subway. I'm not dealing with all that.
I'm not dealing with no driving.
That's how it works,
there.
so I can't complain.
Yeah, well,
plus, he's not. He has his own tickets. He's not my guest, so I have no leverage.
And he's got the proper setup. So he's got the grill pulled out. He pulls the grill out the back of the truck.
Yeah. Respect to
and
Ace.
that's just
Respect
ignorant. If somebody shows up way late.
Yeah, but he's got, it's a whole thing. I understand why it happens.
Got caught up in
I'm
traffic.
talking more about the guy who's coming to the game. I've offered you a ticket. You're coming with me. Let's meet at Xfinity Live or something and make sure we, have a couple drinks and socialize. And then you show up a half hour and we got to just go sit right down, and you have changed my experience. Those are the little things that annoy me. That's pretty, I know I'm a little bit.
So wait,
yeah, man, that's like, it's really nitpicking on
I'm a nitpicker.
Yeah, on your buddy who might be stuck in traffic. You think he's trying to hold you up?
No. I know he's late.
I know this guy, and he procrastinated it probably. He got a little bit of a late jump. But
I get it.
Real quick, so what's the weirdest thing you've seen at a game? He's got some fudge action. I saw a dude getting spit shine.
He said fudge action. I mean, that alone. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not coming to me right off the top of my head.
Huh.
I'm really hung up on this Eagles chant and my friend who was being obnoxious. But we've all seen weird things like I'm always running in and out of the bathroom, right? Like at the Eagles game, it's like, timeout, boom, get in, get out. Because when you don't, you get stuck in those lines. It's awful.
You got to time it very
And
well.
when I see the guys that are in the stalls, spending legitimate time in there, I'm
dropping
just like,
hammers.
Oh my God, that is the worst thing that you could ever do. And I got to assume
there's a 3-hour window in the day.
You had to,
and this is how you choose to spend your time.
Dude, he's got stadium guts. He's got premature.
You don't get stadium guts in the stadium.
Listen,
usually your digestive system can control it to where you at least get your ass home or in the parking lot.
I think we brought it full circle there, right? Because we talked about how complex it is to make these food decisions, and I think the rule you got to follow is whatever decision you make, don't make it too soon and don't overdo it when it comes to that and mixing things up, or else you're going to end up with a case of stadium gut and you're going to be in the bathroom doing things you shouldn't otherwise have to do. And on that note,
this isn't something you can tell somebody. This is something you have to experience.
Yeah, you got to do it wrong.
Learn the hard way.
You got to do it wrong once.
I've never learned the hard way.
Well, look, I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Going behind the curtain of the mentality of the going to the games these days and how I am clearly totally insane when it comes to thinking about what happens.
But this is part of the Philadelphia experience.
It absolutely is, man. I like
this
to think
is why you don't want to live out in Malibu with your waves crashing.
That's right. I need to get in there and experience all these little things that piss me off.